Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to A Different Opinion. I hope everyone's been well. Today we have just a couple of examples of crazy people not showing a little bit of respect for when the Queen died, right? I mean, I have no crazy amount of love for the Queen. I'm not from England. I mean, I'm from South Africa, and in South Africa, obviously, they did the same thing that they did to many countries. They came in, they killed a lot of local people, same as they've done in New Zealand, Australia, many countries around the world, right? They came in, took over the country by force, killed a lot of innocent people, pretty much take all the natural resources from the country, right? And the thing is, even I could respect that, she died and she was probably one of the best queens they've ever had. And the thing is, to show just a little bit of respect like that, where, someone might have a minute of silence or anything like that, especially when the country's still part of the Commonwealth, right? It just shows a little bit of respect and a bit of decency. But some people just hold that old hatred for someone, like for not even during her lifetime. This happened hundreds of years ago. Same with New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, all these countries. All that stuff happened so long ago. It's none of these people's fault. And no one should be paying the price because of 100 or 200 years ago's thing. You shouldn't. You shouldn't be held accountable for generations past. It's stupid. So just to show you a little bit of it here is fury after the woke orchestra refused to play the national anthem after the Queen died. So an orchestra which has received more than £1 million of public money refused to play the national anthem after the Queen died because it said it symbolizes the racist British Empire. It doesn't end right. So before we jump into this, please subscribe below the video if you do want to see future videos and support the channel so we can kind of reach more and do more articles every day. And also comment with your thoughts. I'd love to hear back, and like the video if it deserves it. So let's jump into it. From the Daily Mail, who's being sued by Prince Harry. The Chineke Orchestra performed at the Lucerne Festival in Switzerland during the mourning period, but founder and artistic director Chichi Wanoku banned playing God Save the King. The move has been criticized by MPs and musical figures who point out that Miss Wanoku has accepted honors including a CBE. So I'll take the honors, but I won't respect the people giving me the honors. It's so stupid. So that's her there. In an email, Miss Wanoku, 66, wrote, "The Chineke Orchestra is full of musicians who are not from the UK and many who are the direct result of their ancestors being enslaved. Even though now we found out, right, we know history, come on now, Nwoku, is that Britain was actually the first country to ban the slave trade and to try and actively stop the slave trade." Just shows you, and it's an interesting one for you, that a lady actually says that on, CNN to Don Lemon, a very bad TV presenter, in my opinion. That's why he's getting kind of jumped into different time slots, because he's not drawing any good numbers, right? It's good to see that CNN is finally kind of waking up to the stuff. So we will not be playing the national anthem in Lucerne. So let's jump into the video here for you so you can hear it firsthand. It's absolutely hilarious. So Don Lemon was trying to say, are we going to start getting reparations and money for the past slave trade that the UK and Britain has done and blah, 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 blah. Not knowing history, right? He's just trying to bait an answer out of her, right? But she came back with some good facts. So let's listen.
I think you're right about reparations in terms of if people want it, though, what they need to do is you always need to go back to the beginning of a supply chain. Where was the beginning of the supply chain? That was in Africa, and when across the entire world, when slavery was taking place, which was the first nation in the world that abolished slavery? The first nation in the world to abolish it. It was started by William Wilberforce, was the British. In Great Britain, they abolished slavery. 2,000 naval men died on the high seas trying to stop slavery. Why? Because the African kings were rounding up their own people. They had them on cages waiting in the beaches. No one was running into Africa to get them. And I think you're totally right. If reparations need to be paid, we need to go right back to the beginning of that supply chain and say who was rounding up their own people and having them handcuffed in cages.
So yeah, you can see that he did not like that answer because he got fully schooled. And that's the funny thing, right? That people don't know the history of things and they comment on it, and just have this hatred for the British or whatever without knowing the history. So there's no moving forward if people just keep staying angry about the past, just in my opinion, right? And I mean, there's many countries around the world who can hold that hatred for the UK. It's not just people from Africa. You know, it could be people like the Irish, could be the Welsh, could be the Africans, could be a lot of people from around the world. It's not a race thing. And that's what they don't understand. It's about land and money and power. That's what it was about, right? And yeah, to hear that they were the first country to actually ban slave trade, it's funny when they always bring this stuff up, right? So the 62-strong group made up a majority of Black, Asian, and ethnically diverse musicians. The group did mark the death of Prince Philip in April 2021 with a minute's silence, but Miss Wanoku said last month many in the orchestra were incredibly upset about being made to do it, with the reason being that the empire is virtually entirely built on racism and plundering of Africa. Plundering of Africa, yes, I can agree, but built on racism, no. There's not money in racism. In another email, she said, I would be extremely uncomfortable imposing it on people who are not British, B, who are nationalistic, and C, the list goes on. It does not mean we are not sad that the Queen has died. So the least you can do is just stay quiet for a minute, especially when you're getting funding from Britain, right? The Queen of Britain technically has given you that money. The one insider said Chi was adamant that the anthem represents a British Empire, which was a racist institution and which was responsible for the prosecution of many of the ancestors of the players in the orchestra. Some members of the orchestra actually agreed with her because they too had concerns about some of the anthem's lyrics. But I think it's fair to say the majority orchestra wanted to do something for the Queen. Some members referred the idea of a minute's silence. They wanted something to be done, but in the end, nothing was done. Funny, right? I'll take your £1 million, but I won't even just play your anthem or actually give a minute of silence, just as a sign of respect. So London-born Miss Wanoku and acclaimed double bassist of Irish and Nigerian descent is one of the most high-profile figures on the UK classic music scene. The orchestra has received more than £1 million from the Arts Council England, which includes money from the National Lottery. Wow, you're being funded by the people you're calling racist, right? Isn't that funny? It's funny too, she was born in London. I mean, the funniest, people get these opportunities from living in a country like Britain, from living in Britain and being able to go through these pathways to become, a famous musician, where those pathways aren't really there if you're from Africa, right? It's less, but it's still there. The opportunities, don't get me wrong, but the opportunities are less than in countries like Britain. And that's the thing too. That's what I always wonder. I'm like, if I really thought a country I was living in is full on racist and blah, 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 I wouldn't live in that country anymore. I would move to another country. It's that easy. She can easily just move to another country, but she hasn't. So let's jump into the next one here. Just want to show the disrespect that was happening here in Australia with an NRLW player. So women's rugby league player. She was slapped with a easy ban in my opinion after reprehensibly social media post about the Queen. So Caitlin Moran has copped a 1-game ban is all after referring to the Queen as a dumb dog after she now has deleted the social media post. The Indigenous All-Star came under fire for the reprehensible post, which sent shockwaves through the rugby league community. So her Instagram story was live for 9 hours, and it said, right, this is just the day that the Queen died. So today is a good effing day. Uncle Luke announced his tour. So Luke Combs is a country music star. He announced his tour, so she's happy about that. And this dumb dog dies. Happy effing Friday. So referring to the Queen as a dumb dog, she gets a 1-game ban, right? So just to show you directly here, where's the equality, right? This is from the Daily Mail. Marcelo Montoya hit with a 4-game ban for homophobic slur directed at another player, Kyle Felt, as he apologized for saying the word effort, like got, right? So F-A-G-G-O-T, which to me, I really don't understand why someone would get banned 4 games for that. Whereas, and she can say, the Queen just died, and on social media too, She's a dumb dog. She's happy that she died, and she only gets a 1-game ban. That's ridiculous. No, there's no equality in that at all. And then another one here from Australia, just to show you how dumb this country has become when it comes to this stuff of hating the Queen and blah, blah, blah. Absolutely pathetic. AFL slammed after refusing to the Australian Football League is slammed after refusing to observe a minute's silence for the Queen. The AFL women's competition backflipped on plans to honour the Queen with a minute's silence before its games this weekend. They decided not to do a minute's silence. The men's NRL and the men's AFL, they all had a minute's silence before every game just to show a bit of, respect. The women's league decided, no, we're not going to do it. And yeah, it's just funny how the amount of disrespect that's come out of different countries. There's even a professor from America that actually said it was a good thing also that she died and that she deserved it. It's funny that people can just say the stuff, once someone dies, they then suddenly, I'm going to say some bad things about it. It's like, settle down. What did she ever do to you? That's what I wonder. So she can accept a CBE, but not play God Save the Queen. Hypocrite. From Julian. Bruce says, bet her personal beliefs doesn't exist to refusing government funding, support and assistance. Time for her to understand she's there to play music and not make policy or political statements. But more and more we see now, right, in music, art, sports, it's all political now. It's become ridiculous. Just from GB, give the money back, simple. I agree. And then I bet you right now that 50-person orchestra was straight about, no, we'll play it now. Where she shouldn't be making these decisions for everyone, in my opinion. It should be a agreed upon opinion. Some of them want to do a minute silence and she didn't want to. Ridiculous, in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. Also, if you liked the video, please like it. And if you want to support the channel and see future videos, please subscribe below the video. Thank you for watching.